Wait, I will read these though. I'm not reading these out loud. This is kind of... Okay, I've spent days with the artifact. It has been weeks, months, I can no longer be certain. The others say from time to time offering food or distraction. They say I should separate myself from these studies. Malachi's even suggested I abandon them entirely. But I'm not yet ready to turn away. The apple of Eden will be understood. It must be. Is it a weapon? Is it a catalog? Is it somehow both? He who increaseth knowledge increases sorrow. The philosophy of such a statement I can understand. But for it to be true, literally true, a society that wage wars with ideas and information places steel and swords. Its function is simple, elementary even. Dominion, control, but the process, the methods and means it employs, these are fascinating. Those subjected to its glow are promised all they desire. It asks only one thing in return, complete and total obedience. And who can truly refuse? It is temptation incarnate. I remember my own moment of weakness when confronted with Al-Mu'alim, my confidence shaken by his words. He who had been like a father was now revealed to be my greatest enemy. Just the briefest flicker of doubt was all he needed to creep into my mind. But I vanquished his phantoms, restored my self-confidence, and sent him from this world. I freed myself. But now I wonder, did I really? For here I sit desperate to understand that which I swore to destroy. This is why. The apple has a tale to tell. I sense the flickers of something great and dangerous. We are all at risk. It is my duty to do something about it. I cannot turn away until I have found the truth. No text data, zoom to see image. Wouldn't they immediately get hit because those are all long-range weapons and they're running up with swords and daggers? Whatever. Ah, the creation of the hidden blade. Nice, nice, nice. What if someone used this to make this in real life? I've seen people online make real-life hidden blades. What if they use that? What follows are the three great ironies of the assassin order. Here we seek to promote peace, but murder is our means. Here we seek to open the minds of men, but require obedience to master instead of rules. Here we seek to reveal the danger of blind faith, yet here we are practitioners of ourselves. I have no satisfactory answer to these charges, only possibilities. Do we bend the rule in service to a greater good? And if we do, what does it say of us? That we are liars, that we are frauds, that we are weak. Every moment is spent wrestling with these contradictions, and in spite of all the years I've had to reflect, I can still find no suitable answer. And I fear one may not exist. Nothing is true, everything is permitted. Does our creed provide the answer then? That one may be two things, opposite in every way simultaneously. And why not? Am I not proof? We have noble intentions, possess the barbaric means. We who celebrate the sanctity of life and then promptly take it from those we deem our enemies. This is why I like Altaïr so much, and I always say he's one of my favorite assassins. Like, this Codex just does so much for the game. Who are the ones that came before? What brought them here? How long ago? Centuries, millennia, longer still? So little remains of them. What drove them out? What of these artifacts? Messages in a bottle? Tools left behind to aid and guide us? Or do we fight for control over their refuse, giving divine purpose and meaning to little more than discarded toys? Robert de Sable may be dead, but his brotherhood survives. Though less conspicuous in appearance, I fear they remain a threat. For once they proudly walked in the streets, making for easier targets, and now they retreat into the shadows. It grows difficult to track them. What wicked things will they weave in the darkness? Our work will be all the more complicated for it. Already there are rumors of a movement on Cyprus. I have to investigate. It made me realize that our tactics too must change. It means an end to our fortresses, to our penchant of spectacular displays of public assassinations. We must weave our webs quietly, and we must do so differently than we have in the past. Though I ask my brothers now to abandon their rituals, I do not ask that they abandon their creed. This is what makes us assassins, not the removal of a finger, not a false promise of paradise, not the prohibition of poison. Our duty is to the people, not to custom. If we must sneak, we shall sneak. If we must use poison, we shall use poison. If our blades can be used without removing fingers, we shall not demand they be taken. And we shall not manipulate our initiates with lies and parlor tricks. We shall speak plainly in honesty. We shall be made anew. Piece of eating over here, piece of eating over there. There's one right here, and there's one down here. You got another over there, and another over there. And here's two more. Wait, hold up. Wait, if I do that right now, it's going to trigger something. So, hold on. I'd always thought Adha to be the one to lead me to rest, that I might lay down my blade and live as a normal man. But now I know such dreams are best left to sleep. Her face, I try to banish it from my mind as I remember the days and nights which I chased her Templar captives across the sea. I almost got to them in time, almost. If I had only been faster. Instead, I held her lifeless body in my arms, saw the terror reflected in her fixed, unblinking eyes. I hunted each man one by one. I didn't do it in my playthrough, until all responsible were gone from the world. But there was no joy in this, no satisfaction or release. Their deaths did not bring her back, did not heal my wounds. After that, I am certain I would never feel again for a woman as I had for her. I am fortunate to have been wrong. Why do our instincts insist on violence? I have studied the interactions between different species. The innate desire to survive seems to be to demand the death of the other. Can they not stand hand in hand? So many believe that the world was created by the hand of a divine power, but I only see the designs of a madman, bent on celebrating destruction and desperation. Our origins seem chaotic, unintended, purpose being instilled solely by the passage of time, imposed first by nature and later by men. Over time, any sentence uttered long enough becomes fixed, becomes a truth, provided of course you can outlast the dissent and silence your opponents. But should you succeed and remove all challengers, then what remains by default is now true. Is it truth in some objective sense? No, but how does one ever achieve an objective point of view? The answer is you don't. It is literally physically impossible. There are too many variables, too many fields and formulae to consider. We can try, of course, we can inch ever closer and closer to a revelation, but we will never reach it, not ever. So I've realized that so long as the Templars exist, they will attempt to bend reality to their will. They recognize there is no such thing as an absolute truth, or if it is, we are hopelessly under-equipped to recognize it. So in its place, they seek to create their own explanation. It is the guiding principle of their own so-named New World Order, to reshape the existence in their own image. It is not about outer facts, not about men. These are merely tools. It's about concepts. Clever of them. How does one wage war against a concept? It is the perfect weapon. It lacks physical form, yet can alter the world around us in numerous, often violent ways. You cannot kill a creed. Even if you kill all of its adherents, destroy all of its writing, these are a reprieve at best. Someone someday will rediscover it, reinvent it. I believe that even we, the assassins, have simply rediscovered an order that predates the old man himself. No text, zoom in. Oh, he's talking about the apple. Attis, Dionysus, Hora, Krishna, Mithra, Jesus. Similar stories color their lives, too similar I think. Divine birthright, persecution, disciples, miraculous acts, resurrection. How is it possible? Perhaps it isn't. Merely a single story told over the ages, borrowed then changed to fit the times, evolving as our tools and languages do. Is this tale born of fact or fiction? A bit of both. Could these figures be the same person, their life extended and transformed by a piece of Eden? Al-Mualim spoke of Jesus as a real person, a mortal who had mastered the arts of manipulation. But what if he were wrong? What if these men are real and have walked among us many times before? Does it mean they'll come again? Perhaps they are here now. So many questions, and every day even more. Oops, nope. Wait, I need to leave this one broken. The Hidden Blade has been a constant companion of ours over the years. Some would even say it defines us. I mean, it does. Let's be real now. It does define the Order of the Assassins. Like, everyone knows you're an assassin because you have the Hidden Blade. That is literally what... Anyway, many of it... And they would not, some would even say it defines us, and they would not be entirely wrong. Many of our successes would not have been possible without it. Still, the device has begun to show its age, and so I've been researching improvements beyond ending the need to remove one's finger to wield it. The first is the addition of a metal plate that can be used to deflect incoming blows. The other assassins believe it is forged of a new metal, and credit me with the discovery of the formulae included on this page. It is better that they not know the truth. I've also worked with Mount to describe new methods of assassination, from on high, from ledges, from hiding places. Basic movements, but critical nonetheless. The third and final improvement is the most simple, the provision of a second blade, identical in every way to the first. Should an assassin ever find himself tasked with dispatching two targets, he need only time his strike in such a way that he might reach both at the same time. These blades will be limited in number, since the metals with which we forge them will remain difficult to obtain. I need to think carefully about who shall be allowed to carry two. Ezio. Man seeks dominion over all that he encounters. I suppose it is a natural tendency for us to aspire towards mastery of our surroundings, but this should not include other human beings. Every day more and more are pressed into service by deception or by force. Others, though not so firmly imprisoned, are made to feel as though their lives are worthless. I have seen the ways in which men persecute women, heard the cruel words hurled at those who come here from other lands. Watch that those who believe or act differently are made to suffer. We discuss such things often, watching as we do from the spires of Masyaf. What can be done to stop this, to encourage tolerance and equality? Some days we speak of education, believing that knowledge will free us from such immorality. But as I walk the streets and see slaves sent off to auction, my heart grows cold. When I see the husband hurl abuses and stones at his wife, insisting she only exists to serve him, my fists clench. And when I see children torn from their parents so that another man might profit and sent off to suffer beneath the desert sun and die, on these days I do not think dialogue would make a difference. On these days, I can only think of how the perpetrators need to die. He was really big about saving people that he saw in distress. He was. No text, zooming, scroll to see data. Oh, Cyprus, right? Yeah, it is Cyprus. I remember when he went to Cyprus. That was fun. There's a whole video on my channel, Assassin's Creed Altair's Bloodlines. Check it out if you want to see it. And if you want to hear about Adha, go to Assassin's Creed Altair's Chronicles. I'm talking a lot more about than I usually do. I need more water. The apple is more than a catalog that which precedes us. Within it is a twisting, sparking innards. I've caught the glimpses of what will be. Such a shit. You know what? I'm gonna start that over. The apple is more than a catalog of that which precedes us. Within its twisting, sparking innards, I've caught glimpses of what will be. Such a thing should not be possible. Perhaps it isn't. Maybe it is simply a suggestion. How to know? How to be sure? I contemplate the consequences of these visions. Are they images of things to come, or simply the potential for what might be? Can we influence the outcome? Dare we try? And in doing so, do we merely ensure what we've seen? I am torn as always between action and inaction. Unclear as to which, if either, will make a difference. Am I even meant to make a difference? Still, I keep this journal. It is not an attempt to change or perhaps guarantee what I've seen. Of all the things I've seen, none troubles me more than the images of flames. Pillars so tall that they seemed to pierce the heavens. The ground rumbled and shuddered. Mountains split and crack. Great metal towers splintered, their innards strewn about the ground, and everywhere they are screaming. A chorus so terrible that even now I feel its echo still. What is this madness I've seen? Is it them, I wonder, those who came before? Is this where they went? Into the fire, into the dust? Perhaps this destructive power is what the Templars seek, that they might hold it over us and command devotion. What hope could we have, then, if they held such darkness in their hands, that they could murder the world? We are obligated to hide, to be silent, to shape the course of history in secret. But some of my brothers and sisters disagree. They grow angry, insisting it is a mistake to shroud ourselves. They say it slows our work, but they do not understand the risks. To expose ourselves now would be too dangerous. I fear we would be branded madmen and attacked. So it goes. So it always has. If there's one thing I know for certain, is that men do not learn by being told. Instead, they must be shown. They must make the connections themselves. If I say unto a man, be kind, be tolerant, of an open mind, these words will wither and die long before they've effected change. It would be a waste, and so we must maintain our course. Legend speaks of a golden fleece. Could the two be related? Oh. This is Ezio's armor that he inherited from Altair after doing all those quests. I have further refined the metallurgic process, allowing for the production of a suit of armor the likes of which the world has never seen and will never see again. It is possessed of great strength, yet so light to allow complete freedom. I alternate between wonder and fear. Here we have crafted something that will surely change the face of warfare, making those who wear it nigh invincible. Perhaps it was a mistake to create these pieces. I think it best to erase the formulae. What if it were to fall into the hands of our enemies? The risk is too great. Well, I've got hands on it. Yoink! I've studied the ancient pagan faiths that became this more recent obsession than with a single divine creator. They seem to have focused more on the fundamental forces at play in the world around us and less on arbitrary moral rules. The sun rises in the morning and sets in the evening. The tides ebb and flow. Grass grows, withers, dies, and then in time emerges from the ground again. The air turns warm, then cools and back again. Sun-hidden energy keeps us fitted to the ground and pulls us back when we attempt to leave it. Each of these movements was represented before by a god or goddess, each force given face, but recognizes something distinct and powerful. Which is not to say there were not connections between these forces, a pantheon of individual spirits of rules, invisible hands guiding the progress of the world around us. And so there was an attempt to categorize, study, explain, and understand the way things work, even if it was flawed, but no more. Now we are asked to succumb to a far more simplified explanation. How naive to believe that there might be a single answer to every question, every mystery, that there exists a lone divine light which rules over us all. They say it is a light that brings forth truth and love. I say it a light that blinds us and forces us to stumble around in ignorance. I long for a day when men will turn away from invisible monsters and once more embrace a more rational view of the world. But these new religions are so convenient and promise such terrible punishment should one reject them. I worry that fear shall keep us stuck to what is surely the greatest lie ever told. Ooh, zoom in time. That's the poison blade. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love seeing new stuff. I love seeing all his pictures and his images. Shout out to the artist that actually drew it. So much fun. One may cultivate extracts from various plants found throughout the region. More exotic species can sometimes be obtained from traders and travelers, but their properties are less documented and require further examination. Traditional alchemical implements can be used to distill poison. Care should be used as to ascertain poisons can be absorbed through exposed skin. Many are those who have lost their lives to such carelessness. One's blade should be hollowed according to the specifications listed herein. Deviation may cause fractures within the metal, causing the blade to weaken and possibly break. So are these temples, or these pieces of Eden? I feel like they're temples, because they're not on one entire side of the world. And they said in the third game they only were able to get so far. Or maybe there are more temples, but this apple didn't show them. That might be it. What to make of this map? It appears to contain the whole world. Not flat as they claim either, but round like a ball, like the apple. But how is such a thing possible? Stranger stole lands it shows, great patches of the unknown, the unexplored. So many places yet to be discovered. Are there men there? Are they like us? And if not, different how? I should like to know the answers. Perhaps in time I'll have the chance to travel, to chart a course and make my way to these distant lands. Altair was always full of curiosity. Everybody knows him as the stoic assassin, and you wouldn't be wrong, but he was also full of curiosity. No text, data, zoom to see image. Parkour techniques. He said, run and climb, young man. Some days I miss my family, or at least the thought of them. I never knew my parents well, despite them both having lived within these walls. It was our way. Perhaps they were sad, though they showed no sign. It was not allowed. For my part, much of my youth was spent in training. There was little time to reflect upon the separation. And so, when they were finally lost to me, it seemed no different than the passing of two strangers. Al-Mualim had been as my father, and his was a weak and dishonest love, though at the time it seemed enough, better even, or so I thought. Someday I will have a child, such is the way of our order, and I will not make the same mistake, nor any who call themselves an assassin. We shall be allowed to love our children, and in turn to be loved. Al-Mualim believed such attachments would weaken us, cause us to falter when our lives are on the line. But if we truly fight for what is just, does love not make such a sacrifice simpler, knowing what we do so for their gain? Let's go, Altaïr. No text, zoom to see his wife. I have the answer now. I know the truth. I shall not touch that wretched thing again. Best that no one now or ever. I have tried at last to destroy it, but it will neither bend nor break nor melt. Oh, the irony. I am certain if I asked, the apple would tell me what needs to be done, but even this promise is insufficient. Always it holds one more gift to give. I must refrain, so it shall be sealed. We shall take it to the island, once theirs, now ours. There's a treasury there, hidden well, and it shall have to suffice. Risky to separate myself from the artifact that others may discover it. Riskier still to keep it close. In time I will be tempted. I am weak. We all are. Who wouldn't be? Oh, the things I've seen. The tale is here, inside the text. Not between the lines, but beneath them, where only our eyes might peer. Go and see for yourself, that you might succeed where I and the others have failed. Time marches on, bringing with it new discoveries and developments, until at least one day the doorway might have opened and the message delivered. They will have their profit. We're growing larger. More make their way to our fortresses every day, men and women, young and old, from different lands of different faiths. Each tells a different similar story of having discovered the first part of our creed, nothing is true. Too often, though, this revelation undoes them. They lose their morality, certainty, security. Many are driven mad, we must guide them. Help them to heal. Their minds must not be filled with more fairy tales, but with knowledge instead. Let them have answers, and let those answers be difficult and complex, such as life. Success! Oop. He made the hidden pistol. Altaïr, I bet he made a shotgun in his time too. Success! We found a way to alter the structure of the hidden blade so that it may be used to launch small projectiles. It is capable of grievous damage even from a great distance. I confess the means by which I came about the discovery was risky, to say the least. But I have found that in small doses and with a focused mind the apple can be used without ill effect. Or so I hope. The knowledge of projectile combat is not new to us, having been observed amongst our eastern neighbors, but their weapons are much larger and insufficient for our needs. I've now found a way to miniaturize their designs, embedding their fiery weapon into a form that can be worn on the wrist. We've now refined the formula for combustible powders, such that common ingredients might be used. This is a dangerous bit of knowledge, and it is best shared with only our closest allies. A dark tide rises to the east, an army of such size and power that all land is made quick with worry. Their leader is a man named Temujin, who has adopted the title Genghis Khan. He sweeps across the lands, conquering and subsuming all who stand in his way. Whatever his motives, he must be stopped. Were I younger, I might attempt to undertake this work in secret, as I suspect the presence of a piece of Eden. But those days are years gone now. The mantle must be passed. It is time she and I spoke with our sons. We will travel there together, that they may be tested, and that this threat might be stopped. Oh, last page. Soon I shall pass from this world. It is my time. All the hours of the day are now colored by the thoughts and fears born of this realization. I know that the elements of my body will return to earth, but what of my consciousness, my identity? That is to say, what of me? I suspect it will end, that there is no next world, nor a return to this one. I will simply be done, forever. Our lives are so brief and unimportant. The cosmos cares nothing for us. For what have we had done? Had we wrought evil instead of good? Had I chosen to abuse the apple instead of seal it away? None of it would have mattered. There is no counting, no reckoning, no final judgment. There is simply silence and darkness, utter and absolute. And so I've begun to wonder, might there not be a way to stop or at least delay death's embrace? Surely those who came before were not so frail and feeble as we are. But I've sworn to be done with the artifact, not to gaze into its core. Still, as I am faced with the prospect of my end, what harm is there in one last look?